Well, greetings. I am Jana Parks in the Financial Aid Office at Baker University here, and we will be discussing a couple things that have to do with your financial aid. We're going to talk about academic progress in relation to financial aid. We're going to talk about student loans, outside scholarships, books, and campus work. So financial aid, satisfactory academic progress. There are things that your students need to do in order to remain eligible for financial aid. We usually look at GPA in hours, which is very similar to academic progress, but please note that this is separate. It is a separate process from that. Your student has to be enrolled in a minimum of 12 credit hours in order to receive any institutional Baker aid. So please make sure that they remain full-time while they're here so that they can maximize their financial aid. Their academic standing will be reviewed annually every May. We again look at GPA, attempted hours, and then how they're progressing. So students have to be maintaining academic progress by completing 67% of the hours that are attempted. They also have to have a minimum cumulative GPA of 2.0, and they must be able to complete their degree in 150% of the program length. For most of the programs here at Baker, they are 4 years, which means that your student would need to be able to complete them in 6 years. Going back to the first point, which is 67% completion of all attempted hours, I can give you a couple examples so that you will understand this maybe a little bit better. If your student was to enroll in 12 credit hours and drop down and only successfully complete 9 credit hours, they would have successfully completed 75% of their hours, 9 over 12. So they would be meeting this requirement. If your student was to enroll in 15 credit hours and only successfully complete 9 of those, they would now be at a 60% completion rate, 9 over 15, and so they would not be meeting this point. Okay, on to student loans. So many of you guys would have received an award letter by now, and you may have seen that there is a federal direct subsidized and unsubsidized loan on there. If your student is wanting to apply for these loans, circling accept is not quite enough. We also need you to go do a master promissory note and loan counseling. You should have received information in your award letter as to what needs to be done, but if you didn't, please visit studentloans.gov and complete the master promissory note and loan counseling. You can also contact our department if you have additional questions about that. One thing that was not included on the award letter but is available to you as parents is the Parent Plus loan. Parent Plus loans are available, but it does depend on your eligibility, and the Department of Ed determines that eligibility. You can begin applying for those Parent Plus loans after June 1st. Also, it would be important to note that if you do not get accepted or you are not eligible to apply for a Parent Plus loan, some of that eligibility can roll to the student. So if you do believe that you might not qualify for a Parent Plus loan, it is good to go ahead and try to do the application process, and if you are denied, again, that rolls to the student. There are also private credit loans. They are also not put on your award letter. That is a whole separate process, and it requires credit rating and your credit score in order for you to be eligible for it. The student can apply for a private credit loan. However, they probably will need a co-borrower on that. Outside scholarships. So we need to know about any outside scholarships that your student may be receiving. They may have received some at their through their high school, through their local town, maybe through some other competition that they attended. We need to know about all of those. So any letters of enrollment, letters or certificates that define what they have earned, we need to have that in our office so that we can go ahead and add that to your award letter, and the business office can count that as funds that are going to be coming in to pay the bill. Now, some scholarships will require letters of enrollment, certification, so if you need those to be completed once your student has attended orientation and been enrolled in classes, we can do those even over the summer. Book money. So one of the things that we really want to stress to all students and parents is that you need to plan on paying for your first semester of books. The financial aid checks are not released until about 2 weeks after the student starts class. This is not enough time for the student to order books online or to get them shipped here in time. So please plan on bringing book money with you for the fall semester. Campus work. Some of you will see $1 of federal campus work awarded on your award letter. That money, that figure is not the maximum amount that your student can receive, of course, $1, but that does indicate that they're in the first priority group to apply for a federal or for a campus work job. Can let me cut out and start over?
Oh, you have to restart.
I'm going to restart.
Well, if,
Sorry about that.
no, you're okay. Did you have
That
any
was too
more to
much
talk
fumbling.
about?
Yeah, a little bit more.
We would have to restart the whole thing.
It was really good though.
Yeah.
Everything looked really natural and sounded good with the slides.
Okay. All right.
We were so close. Okay, so campus work lost. So
I'm
whenever
going
you're
to go
ready.
over that real quick in my head.
No, you're good.
What's going on? These two familiar. Okay. So just start, right?
Yep.
Greetings. I am Janet Parks of the Financial Aid Office. I will be discussing a few topics that have to relate to financial aid. We'll be talking about academic progress for financial aid, student loans, outside scholarships, books, and campus work. So the first thing that we want to talk about is financial aid satisfactory academic progress. This is separate from academic progress, so they will be reviewed separately, but they're similar in some ways. Financial aid does require a minimum GPA and a certain number of hours to be successfully completed. And it also requires that your student be completing their degree program in a certain amount of time. So the first thing is that I want you to know is that your student needs to be enrolled in 12 credit hours per semester, which is full time, in order to maximize their financial aid. The second thing is that then after this semester or the year is over, the academic year, we review annually in May your student's GPA, cumulative GPA, and we also review the number of hours that they have attempted and earned. To meet financial aid satisfactory academic progress, they have to maintain a minimum GPA of 2.0, and they must complete successfully 67% of the hours attempted. They must also be able to complete their degree within 150% of the program length. For most programs here at Baker, they're 4-year programs. This would mean that the student would need to complete their degree in 6 years. Now, to go back to that first point where they have to complete 67% of attempted hours, I want to give you a few examples so that you can understand this a little bit better. If your student was to enroll in 12 credit hours and then only successfully complete 9 of those, they would meet this requirement as 9 over 12 is 75%. If your student was to enroll in 15 credit hours but only successfully complete 9 hours, they're now not going to be meeting this 67% as 9 over 15 is 60%. So hopefully that helps you understand how they can meet satisfactory academic progress. Student loans. You may have noticed on your financial aid award letter that your student has eligibility for federal direct subsidized and unsubsidized student loans. The subsidized loan is interest-free while you're in school, and so only some students, this is need-based loan, so only some students will have that on their award letter. Unsubsidized loan funds are available to all students, and this loan does accrue interest while you're in school. If you are wanting to accept, or if your student is wanting to accept those student loans, it has circled accept on the award letter. That's not the only thing they would need to do. They also need to visit studentloans.gov and complete the master promissory note and the loan counseling. Again, that website is www.studentloans.gov. There should have been instructions also with the award letter that would tell your student how to do that and go about that. But if you need help, please contact our office. One thing that you might have noticed that was not on there was a Parent Plus loan. We do not award Parent Plus loans on the award letter, but it is available, and eligibility for the loans and the amount is all determined by how you apply for the loan. So you as a parent can choose how much you want to apply for, and then also your eligibility is then determined by the Department of Ed. Please note that if you do not believe that you will be eligible for a Parent Plus loan, that if you are denied, a portion of that eligibility then rolls to the student. So it is important that if your student needs additional funding and you're not able to apply for those loan funds, that you would go ahead and do the denial in order for your student to have some additional loan eligibility. Also, private credit loans are not awarded on the award letter. Those funds are based on a student or a parent's credit score and credit rating. And if your student is applying for that private credit loan, they will more than likely need a co-borrower on there to be approved. Outside scholarships. So we need to be informed of any outside scholarships that your student may have earned over the summer or maybe in the school year. These could be coming from your school, from your local town, or maybe some other competition that they might have participated in. We would need the letter or the certificate that shows the amount and when it will be applied for the student. So all of that information can be sent over to our office. Once we have that information, we share it with the accounting office so that they can be prepared for those funds to come in. One of the other things that some outside scholarship require is a letter of enrollment confirmation, and those can be sent out as soon as you have attended orientation and been enrolled in class. So please go ahead and send those through. We can complete those during the summer. We also would encourage you, if the foundation requests who the checks need to be made out to have them made out to Baker University. Books. One of the other things that we want to point out is that your student does need to be prepared to have money for books in the fall semester. Refund checks or excess funds from financial aid funds or outside scholarships are not available until 2 weeks after the student starts the semester. So please come prepared with money for your books. Campus work. So some of you may have seen a federal work eligibility on your award letter, and it was only for $1. This is not the maximum amount that a student has in federal work eligibility, but it does indicate that your student is in the first priority group to apply for campus work. Our jobs will be posted within the financial aid office the first day of class. Your student, if they have that dollar on their award letter, is able to come over at that time and look through the job postings to find the job. If your student did not have that eligibility placed on their award letter, please know that they still can work. They're just not in the first priority group and must wait until after September 15th to come look at the jobs, the job listing, and see what's available to them. Also, if your student plans on working, please plan on sending either a copy of their the original of their birth certificate or the original of their social security card with them, as they will need that to fill out the I-9 card. They will need this and a student ID copy. When they go to fill it out, they will also need to have banking and routing information if they want to have their checks deposited. And that is all for financial aid. I hope I've answered all your questions, and I look forward to seeing you.